Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello,
Good morning, Dr. Mati. How are you?
Good morning, Oji.
Good morning.
You know why?
You know why? I mean, I don't know what's going on in Nigeria, guys. Really.
Honestly,
well,
it's quite tragic.
let's look at some videos. Good morning to you, viewers. We begin what's trending in Nigeria. Social media was abuzz on Monday with images and videos of residents ignoring any form of social distancing in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Lagos and Ogun states as the lockdown order imposed by President Muhammadu Buhari came to an end. Let's take a look at some of those images that circulated on social media. We're just saying how this whole situation, I mean, is worse than even going to a hospital at this point.
It's tragic.
Let's just take one on. Meanwhile, videos of long queues at banks and ATMs in the affected areas also circulated on social media yesterday. At some locations, customers were seen struggling with security agents to get their foot into the bank. Let's take a look.
Social distancing.
Let's take a quick reaction before we come back for a discussion from a user, Dr. Aproko, who wrote, "The crowd today at the banks showed that a lot of Nigerians are yet to embrace mobile banking, which makes me wonder why we haven't given telecom companies the license to run mobile money. Not everyone can understand how apps work if we are being honest with ourselves. Anyone who has a mobile number should be able to transfer funds from one mobile number to another. Countries in Africa have been doing it. The woman who sells tomatoes gets an alert when you're done. All you need is her mobile number. This limits the use of physical cash." I mean, this conversation about going to the banks. I mean, yesterday was outrageous. I couldn't understand why at the point.
Lack of enforcement as well. And you could see that even the security agencies looked overwhelmed. I think that was at an access branch that we saw them trying to push against the gates.
Yes.
And what is scary is looking at that, if just one person there was to be positive for coronavirus, the super spreading that would have caused is tragic.
It's almost like an inferno at this point, really, because these images, the Lagos state government and the Ogun state government and Abuja, they have to really consider probably reversing the lockdown.
I think the point about mobile banking is very valid.
Very valid.
Or if you like e-banking.
Yes.
Or if you like financial inclusion, in which the Central Bank of Nigeria and the banking, the various banks are invested a lot. Because many of these people that you are seeing in front of those banks, some of them are there just to go and collect maybe 20,000 naira or smaller amounts.
Yeah.
You know, but if they had the apps, the relevant apps on their phones, then of course they wouldn't need to go to the bank physically. So the banks should take a cue from this, the CBN also, that a lot more still needs to be done in terms of sensitizing people to embrace electronic transactions. Somebody was telling me about something called Paga. You know, I think it's like M-Pesa in Kenya.
Correct.
So here in Nigeria, they call it Paga. You know, many of these persons didn't need to go to the banks. They could use Paga. Now, the other point again is about the attitude of the banks. The federal government and the presidential task force had given a number of guidelines for banks and other corporate organizations. You will recall that the first time that there was a shutdown, the president, the Minister of Finance and the CBN governor, in a follow-up clarification after the president's original speech, said financial services providers should open up. Now, many of the banks ignore that. Yeah, maybe that's part of their own business considerations. And then even when it was announced that banks are providing essential services, yesterday, many of these banks refused to open most of their branches. In a section of Lagos, only 4 branches were said to have been opened. Hence, that terrible crowd that you find there. And then what is also being demonstrated is the cynicism of the people themselves, the suicidal tendency of the average Nigerian. Because there are, with all the public sensitization and all that, most of those people you see there, They think that the COVID-19 thing is just a
joke.
Because
you told me about this driver. Tell us about this driver.
The man who was coughing that they took out of the bank. There was a video circulating yesterday, which we can get up on the show tomorrow, actually, of a man that they carried out of a bank. Literally, he was coughing profusely, and they carried him out through the crowds. He wasn't covered. He wasn't wearing a mask or anything. So you're carrying him out, and I'm just thinking the amount of people, if he does have COVID-19, that could possibly get infected just by this pass-through is ridiculous.
Well, the conclusion of that story is that they now took the precaution after they had carried him out, after he collapsed. You know, they now checked his temperature. When they saw the what was on the thermometer, the bank officials took to their heels.
But you see, this is the issue.
That they would have been infected already.
Yes, they would have been infected already.
And you told me about the people that were sharing masks as well.
You think I was making it up?
Yes, I literally don't.
There was a driver.
I find it really hard to believe that all these months, with all of the information out there, people can still borrow masks.
Yeah, say borrow me your mask.
Yes, you're seeing drivers keeping reusable masks in their car and saying to passengers, give it back to me after the trip, and giving it to the next passenger. And I don't even know what to say at this point, because really and truly awareness is our greatest resource, but how much awareness do people have when it comes to COVID-19 in Nigeria? It seems to be too minimal.
Don't collect masks from strangers. Don't use a mask that somebody else has used. Don't pick any facial clothing on the floor. I mean, that's like just committing plain suicide.
Yeah, it is at this point.
Correct. Well, let's head over to the U.S. now, where global philanthropist Bill Gates has come under criticism over a post in developing a COVID-19 vaccine. In the post titled What You Need to Know About the COVID-19 Vaccine on his blog, the philanthropist outlined what a vaccine could look like, including how long it will take to develop a safe and efficient vaccine. He added that the world will need to manufacture and distribute at least 7 billion doses of the vaccine, or possibly 14 billion if it's a multi-dose vaccine. Over the weekend, Bill Gates posted a video on Twitter stating that there are over 100 different coronavirus vaccine candidates in the works. Well, he's gotten a lot of backlash. Let's just take one reaction. In response, one user, Jesse, wrote, "I'm still not sure who elected you to make these decisions for us. What are the risks and side effects of these vaccines? I will never take your vaccine, but instead choose to be naturally exposed to viruses and allow my immune system to do the work. Hashtag Bill Gates is evil."
Yeah, I mean, I find it quite problematic that he's come under a lot of fire, both him and Melinda, given the whole COVID-19 pandemic, for several reasons, and now this is another one. To answer or to reflect on what was said in that tweet, the honest truth is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has invested millions, tens of millions in research when it comes to vaccines, when it comes to preventing the next pandemic, like he spoke about once, to the point where, yeah, he does have the right to stand in a position and give us advice if he feels that he can.
Absolutely. He's been doing it for years.
Between February and now, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has invested up to about $250 million of resources supplied by Bill Gates and Melinda Gates because both husband and wife believe in the positive impact of science and technology for the advancement of humanity. Now, 5 years ago, it was Bill Gates who had warned about the coming pandemic. And I guess because of that, he's been blackmailed, all kinds of conspiracy theories. But the people attacking him really are the social media, crowd who do not even understand the subject.
Apparently, there were physical protests too near his house.
There was. In America, there are videos going around
but it is absolute fake news. And there are indications that there are some Russian groups that are behind this. But I think Bill Gates and Melinda Gates need to be commended for their contribution to human
People coming out saying that he's scared because they now have a new cure in Madagascar.
Well, here we say thank you to the Gates Foundation.
Yes,
absolutely. Thank you very much.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.